Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Taurus for May 2017. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blog, and while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter, which makes you part of my community and brings you the perk of having my write-up for the general transits a month early so that you have a visual version of the energies we're working with and the dates of different transits and what the effects could be, delivered right to your inbox. So what's going on in this month of May? This movement and manifestation to the max is the theme. We have been waiting for this time since the end of 2016. We had a short little opening, kind of an opening in February, barely, where we had a little bit of open time to try to do some things in between these retrogrades of Venus and Mercury. But now in May, after Mercury goes direct on May 3rd, and we have a little bit of chaotic several days around that, then with every day that passes, we get further away from the Mercury retrograde. That's completely clear on the 21st. And then on May 19th, we're completely clear of the Venus retrograde shadow period. So we have this open period of time from the 21st of May through July 24th to not have personal planet retrogrades or shadow periods where we can just get some stuff done in the outer realms. You know, we've had a chance to get plenty of stuff done in the inner realms and some other external manifestations, but the energy has been very internal, closer to home, you know, with the retrogrades. So I am going to go into much more detail about the transits that are going on and what I think what you need to know about them. But first I want to talk about some fields of experience that are highlighted for Taurus specifically. The first thing that I want to talk about, of course, is birthdays. If your birthday is, if you haven't already had your birthday at the end of April, then if you're a Taurus, then you're going to have your birthday. And you know I love birthdays. Birthdays are a powerful time of co-creation with the universe. The universe is never more receptive than on your birthday to your wishes. The sun in the chart represents the things that you want. So when the sun in the sky gets back to the same point that it was at in your chart, it connects in this powerful portal opening of manifestation for your desires, which is where birthday wishes came from. So definitely watch my video, Making Powerful, how would I call it? Making Wishes Come True. That's what it is. It's called Making Wishes Come True using astrological power periods. But if you just search anywhere for Making Wishes Come True Annie, then my work on this will come up and you can have some help for using your birthday wishes. And make sure that if your birthday wishes don't come true, that you don't give up. Some of them can come true right away. And I have heard of and seen that happen a lot. But remember that when we're asking for big things, sometimes the universe has to do a lot of restructuring to make us a match for what we desire. If you're not an energetic match for what you desire, it can't happen in this reality. So sometimes it takes times of continual wishing, letting the universe know this is the track you're on, you still want this, you're trying to do this. Use the new moons for wishing, use your birthday, you know. Any open time you have consistently, then the universe will restructure your inner and outer space to be able to make you an energetic match with your desires. So happy birthday! And for those of you who are watching for your rising sign, this is still very exciting because when the sun moves over your ascendant, it's like a new rebirth and a reawakening and a time of wonderful manifestation as well. So one of the houses that is being strongly lit up for Taurus placements is the 12th house. The 12th house is this, I call it the Harry Potter house because this is the place where the fears and the doubts and the uncertainties and the blocks are. And it makes sense that before you have a crossing over the sun of your ascendant or the crossing over the sun of your sun, you know, which is what happens at birthday time or when the sun moves over your ascendant, then it's like you have to go through this fear, this doubt, this clarity on what you don't want, this clarity on what the blocks are in order for you to move forward into the new. So some fears come up, you know, some doubts, and, you know, people associate this often with, oh, well, I'm feeling weird because it's going to be my birthday and another year's passed and there's regrets and there's blah, whatever. And some of that is true, but I think most of it is astrological. You know, when you have the energies lighting up your unconscious space, the unconscious is the place where we put everything we don't want to deal with, or where things are that we don't even know about, that we can't even deal with. And so it bubbles up, you know. So it's a fantastic time to do soul searching, to do inner work, to do hypnosis, to, do meditation, to do affirmation, to surround yourself by the things that you really want to create. If you look around you and your environment is not matching with the things that you want to create, you're losing that valuable marketing space, I call it, like we're being marketed to from all over the place. And we're marketing to ourselves by putting things where our subconscious mind can be reading them every day. Your subconscious mind is picking up on that stuff. And if it's not what you're trying to create, then you're wasting your marketing space. You can put affirmations, you can put sacred geometry, you can put books of, countries that you want to visit, pictures of things that you want to have more of in your life in your space, and then you're valuably using your marketing space to help you align with what you're trying to do. So this is a good time to get in touch with all of that. Another house that is lit up nicely for all early, middle, and late degree placements is the first house. And the first house is about this rebirth, this renewal, this attention being on you, whether it's your own attention or other people seeing you or you being recognized, you trying to get more in touch with the image that you're bringing out and whether that's in sync with where you're wanting to go. So many times we wake up and look at ourselves and things in our life and say, gosh, this isn't how I feel anymore. I've got to get everything aligned with what I'm trying to do here, So we just came out of a time where it wasn't a good time to do wardrobe updates and new hairstyles and stuff like that. But now it is. Now is the time. Again, wait until like at least the 9th to try to start doing some of this stuff, and you still have a little bit of shadow period to contend with, but just trust your intuition and flow. When the energy feels good, push forward. When the energy feels like it's got a little hindrance, then back up a little bit, Even if it's a date that an astrologer says is a good date, if you're having a crappy day, that's probably not the best day to try to take a bunch of action on something. You have to follow the signs that the universe is giving you. Sometimes we feel energies beforehand. So if you're feeling really good and the transit hasn't happened yet and everything's flowing really well, capitalize on it. Go with that flow, because sometimes we feel those energies early. So the full moon on the 10th is going to happen for early, middle, and maybe some late, but the late ones, you'll have that full moon in the 6th house. So most of you will have the full moon in the 7th house. And the full moon brings completion, fruition, drama, something coming to a head, something coming to manifestation. And this has to do with relationships. It has to do with all one-on-one relationships, marriage, any kind of other romantic relationship, business relationship, clients, close friendships, your neighbor, if you're close with them, one-on-one relationships. So there could be a drama. There could be an unforgettable experience in a wonderful way. There could be, something that was hidden coming up to be seen. When there's a full moon, especially in Scorpio, that's the sign of hidden things, So things that were not there might make themselves more readily available, and it might be very stressful or it might be very exciting, because you could have something come up like a wonderful trait in your partner that you hadn't really seen before starting to bubble up as well. Any of these things can be positive or can be challenging. Ultimately, I always think the challenges can and also are meant to be opportunities. So this isn't a thing to fear. For you later degree placements, you're more likely to have this manifestation. So that's like at the end of the birth, at the end of the sign, or the later degrees if you're watching for your rising sign. You're more likely to have this manifestation in your house of health. So all of you, but especially late degree placements, if you're getting a nagging symptom or if you're not taking care of yourself, just watch that, because the full moon could bring some things to light, could bring some information, excuse me, about what's going on with your health, etc. Could also be a pet needs some attention, because that 6th house is the house of pets. It could be an office drama, office space, or it could be an office manifestation, like you've been trying to work on getting a coffee machine in the office and that finally happens, or something like that. It's something coming to fruition, completion, that can be emotional for you, for better or worse. So those are the things that I wanted to talk about that are specific to Taurus. Now I want to go in more detail about all the dates of the transits that I think are notable, the things that I think you need to know, especially this beautiful trine with Saturn and Uranus. When outer planets get together in a beautiful configuration, it's rare and it's exciting, and so I think it's going to help a lot with these harmonious transitions for all of you that are at major crossroads. So I'm calling the theme of the month of May for all signs, movement and manifestation to the max. This is the month that we have been waiting for through all of the retrograde cycles that started at the end of 2016. So there are definitely going to be major opportunities for the launches, for the trips, for the action, for the activity, for the big decisions. And we have some really amazing transits that line up with this clearing of the retrogrades. So I'll just go in order about the notable dates and the transits on those dates. Do know that when you sign up for my free email newsletter on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, I do a write-up, a general write-up for the month ahead, so that you have a lot of the points that I talk about written down, and it's easier to refer to for your planning purposes, so you can check that out too. So on May 3rd, this is the day that Mercury goes direct, and Mercury goes direct at 24 degrees of Aries. So if you have any planets close to there, of course, you'll be affected more than others or in aspect to them to that degree. But everyone will likely experience more chaos around the days that Mercury goes direct. So it would be a false idea to think, oh, today Mercury is direct, now today or tomorrow I will go and do all these things and make all these decisions and try to get all this stuff done. You'll feel it when you pay attention that the energies are very chaotic the days before and the days after a planet goes retrograde, or the days before or the days after it goes direct. So I say give it a few days, several days after the 3rd, before you start taking action. I know your little horsey's chomping at the bit, waiting through 5 months of retrograde energies to try to do things, but do wait just a little longer. On May 9th, we've got the first day that I consider really, really good to start doing some things. You have to feel in to see if your launches or things like that would be good on this day, but I like a little bit later in the month because the shadow energies start to clear more. But this is certainly a day when the sun in Taurus makes a trine to Pluto in Capricorn, where you have tremendous power aligning with your desires. So you could, just feel into it. This could be a day to do some of the things on your list. On May 10th, we have the full moon at 20 degrees of Scorpio, and at the same time we have a Uranus and Mercury conjunction. So full moons usually bring fullness, completion, drama. Sometimes they bring happy tears, sometimes they bring stress, but there is this fullness, this completion, this coming to fruition of anything in the area of Scorpio. So something having to do with an intimate relationship, a business partnership, a financial relationship or agreement, something with esoteric studies. Many people can have major spiritual transformation that occurs at this time, or insights that occur. If someone is doing research or looking into a mystery, sometimes this energy can bring answers that you've been looking for, that you've been delving deep, searching for. The fact that Uranus and Mercury are going to make this conjunction at the same time always alerts me to watch your head and your brain, because Uranus in Aries, Uranus brings surprises, it could bring jolts. Mercury is like your movement, and it just always behooves us to guard your head, especially during this time, especially since the full moon is bringing excess of drama and emotions. And sometimes, everybody knows that people get a little more crazy at the full moon, right? Even people that don't believe in astrology know that that's true. So I like to leave a little space around the full moons so that whatever comes up, you can be fully present for them. So that's May 10th, the full moon in Scorpio. On May 11th, we have a square with Mars in Gemini to Neptune in Pisces. And so how I see this energy coming together as a potential is information overload, action overload, things to do, just kind of energy and movement combining with chaos and confusion, so this might be a day to step back. I always like to remind you that even though I give you the dates of the transits, sometimes we feel the energy of the planets coming together on the days before or the days after the actual transit. So you really need to fill in to fill in with your intuition if a day is good for something. Just because we say today is a good day in the cosmos, if you're having a bad day that day and things are not flowing for you, maybe you don't want to align with trying to make a big decision or do something on that day just because it happens to be a quote good transit. Sometimes you'll feel the good energy days before, so if you're feeling it, everything is aligning. You don't have to necessarily wait for the exact day the transit happens. If it's a positive transit, you can take advantage of that energy when you feel it beforehand as well. So I just wanted to point that out. So this Mars in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces aspect could bring some action and information overload. So just kind of draw back a little bit. That is the other thing to know about this month. Although there are definitely energetic clearings going on, the planets are going direct that were retrograde, the shadows, or at least Mercury is, the Venus retrograde shadow transit is going to be over this month. We'll talk about that later. Mercury retrograde transit or shadow will be over later. There's this clearing out going, kind of opening up some room for action and things to happen. But this energy is interspersed with these little challenging moments. So you really just have to feel your way through to see which is a good time to do what and to take best advantage of the good energy when you're feeling it. Okay, so also on May 11th, Mercury in Aries is going to make a trine to Saturn and Sag. And so this energy is really good for good news and forward movement, especially on long-term projects. So the fact that it's so close to the full moon and this other aspect with Mars and Neptune, you just have to feel your way through. Feel when you're feeling that good energy flowing, then jump on that and take your actions at that time. On the 14th, the nodes, I started talking about the North and South node in transit last month in the April report. The North node in transit shows us keys to our highest expression. And right now, on May 14th, the nodes change to the polarity of Leo and Aquarius. And so when the North Node is transiting in Leo, it's pointing for all of us to have more energy towards following our bliss. That's what Leo energy is about, is living in this constant manifestation of these true desires. A true desire is not necessarily a chocolate cake, or a purse or something like that. The true desires, the ones that spirit wants for us, aligns for us. And who knows, maybe a purse or a chocolate cake could be part of that if it's part of something bigger for somebody. I have no judgment on the desires. We just have to be careful that addictions don't cloud the way of true desires that spirit wants for us, So when we really, really, really want something, it's usually because spirit really, really wants that for us. And when we align our energies with where spirit is directing us, we become an unstoppable force for manifestation. So with the transiting node moving into Leo, we're all going to have years of support for following our bliss. It reminds me of the quote by Joseph Campbell. If you haven't studied his work, he's amazing. He basically, this is, loosely, he talks about how when you follow your bliss, doors open that weren't there before. Not even doors necessarily that were closed, just like doors open from places where there just weren't any doors. When you follow your bliss, you align with that energy, you supercharge yourself for manifestation. So this is really good news for me for assisting everyone in following that bliss, because the universe is really supporting this at this time. So on May 18th, we have a nice angle between the Sun in Taurus and Chiron in Pisces. Chiron is an asteroid, it's the wounded healer. And it talks about how our weak spots can actually be our greatest strengths. So when we have a nice angle here, it's showing us that we have a chance to easily convert a weakness to a strength. That's what Chiron to me is all about. So when you have something at a nice angle to it, it means that conversion can be relatively easy. When you have Chiron in a challenging angle, then that conversion can be a little bit stressful. But this is like a nice little sweet spot here, in the middle of the month, where something that was serving to hinder you actually serves as your springboard. So around May 19th, we have this amazing long-term story. beautiful aspect between Saturn and Sagittarius and Uranus and Aries. So we've talked about outer planets, how when they get together, they create these long-term challenges, which could be opportunities or just straight opportunities. So this is just straight up opportunity for harmonious transitions. The first time Saturn and Uranus came together in this configuration in recent times was December 24th of 2016. So here now, May 19th, is our second run of this story. And then the third run they'll connect again on November 11th. And they won't come together again like this until 2047. So this is a really rare aspect, and it is one that is a theme for the whole year from the end of 2016 through the end of 2017. And this month of May, and actually for the end of April, all of May, and almost half of June, Saturn and Uranus are in this amazing close proximity that's just opening doors, just like we were talking about for following your bliss. So it's really supercharged. And so the energies are also both in fire. And fire means action. You know, if you know anyone or you have a lot of fire energy of your own, this is an action-oriented energy. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Let's do something. So when you have these outer planets in this wonderful aspect, they want to help you do something really big. So this is the type of energy that's amazing for all huge transitions, like major crossroads. Changes in all areas of life are very much supported. And now that we have the personal planet retrogrades clearing up, it's really opening up the way for these changes that have been pending to really start to manifest. The same day, May 19th, we have this opposition with Venus and Aries to Jupiter in Libra. This is the opposition that I worry least about in general, because Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics, the nice planets basically of the zodiac. So when they get together, even in an ornery angle, it's not as much of a challenge or an issue as oppositions with other planets are, because they kind of like each other, you know? So I could see two main possible manifestations from this. Of course, there are unlimited manifestations, but one could be overindulgence in fun. So just excess of fun, spending, partying, whatever. That is more common at this time. Just having way too much fun. And the other way I can see this happening is a burnout from balancing me and we. Like, you could be getting in a really good groove with tending to your own things and tending to your stuff with relationship. Because Aries and Libra are this, this polarity of me and we. So you could just be burnt out from balancing me and we. And that could be how it manifests. And this same day, on May 19th, is when the Venus shadow period from the retrograde passes completely. So ever since April 15th, when Venus went direct, we've been in this shadow period where, even though it was moving forward, it was kind of still getting back to full strength. So now on this day, it's back at full strength, and we're not going to have to work with this for, a long time, until the end of 2018, as far as the Venus retrograde goes. On May 21st, the Mercury shadow clears. So in that time between, the first few days after Mercury goes direct, so May 3rd, after that, I'm saying like May 9th is a good time to start, pushing some things forward. From May 9th until the 21st, you're still having a little bit of shadow stuff to deal with, but it doesn't mean you can't get some stuff done. But now, as of the 21st, you have this completely open period from personal planets retrograde or their shadow periods until July 24th. So make the most of your taking action, doing things, going places, making decisions, moving forward. Then on May 25th, we have the new moon at almost 5 degrees of Gemini. New moons always bring new opportunities, and the more you make your wishes in alignment with the energy of the sign, the more the universe can help them come true. So you get 10 new moon wishes. You can check out my blog called Making Powerful New Moon in Gemini Wishes, or you can just go to anniehelpsyou.com, click on blog, and then put a search for New Moon in Gemini, and you'll find it. So you can see the types of things that are Gemini related that you can wish for that help to push your wishes even further. That new moon is also squaring Pluto. So there could be some challenges with people authority figures or unknown pieces or some sort of forces that seem to be working against you. This is one of those examples this month, as I was saying, there's like all these energies moving forward, but they're like little hindrances, little obstacles in the way. So if you're feeling a little bit of a pushback, then just honor the flow and just wait until you're feeling the flow move forward again, instead of pushing against it. On May 28th through the 29th, Mars in Gemini is going to be opposing Saturn in Sagittarius. So this could be another one of those hiccups in progress where, Saturn, this taskmaster, comes in and opposes Mars, this planet that wants to move forward and take action. It's like a little bit of, hey, you have to do something with your responsibility here, or here's a little piece you didn't keep up with that you have to take care of before you can continue spiraling forward. And it is very much a spiraling energy because the energy of Gemini moves in an upward spiral. So you'll notice this month is just full of, even though we have energy in Taurus as well, which is more grounded, there's more of a predominant energy in like the Aries and Gemini, which is like making everything spin, busyness, lots of information, lots of talking, lots of thinking, lots of doing, lots of going places. So then on May 30th, Mars and Gemini will make a nice angle to Uranus, and this is a really great day to put a brilliant plan in action. Uranus rules taking chances, taking risks, doing something forward thinking, and Mars again rules action. So when they come together in a nice angle, this gives really good support for taking a brilliant idea and putting it into action. On the 31st, Mercury in Taurus will make a lovely trine with Pluto in Capricorn. So this is like grounded action fueled by emotional or lesser seen support. Pluto is stuff in the backdrop. It could be spiritual, mystical stuff. It could be, a person or an entity with money that is supporting you. But it's something that is positively expressing or positively supporting your expression at this time. So these are the things that are most on my mind. Again, the theme this month is movement and manifestation to the max. I hope that this helps you to take more advantage of the opportunities that will be at play this month. If you haven't already signed up for my free email newsletter, then definitely do that on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, because you get the write-up of the month that's coming. I always send that out a month early, just like I do the horoscopes a month early, so that you can prepare. And some people need to see things more than just hear them, and that written report will give you information in a visual way. Also, I might have some slots still open in my Creating Successful Online Business if you'd like to be free from your geography. I'm not yet enrolling for my astrology apprenticeship program and my coach certification course, but it's coming soon when I will be. So if you think you might be interested in those courses, they do fill up quickly. You can go to my website and click on anniehelpsyou.com, click on Work With Me, and send me an email through where it says this class is full and in progress. If you send me an email through there, I'll put you on the list to have first chance at open slots when they come, if you're really interested in working with me. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.